Welcome back to my channel, guys. What is up? I'm Ziomara, back at it again. And today is not my usual content. As you guys can see, I'm a bit bummed out on my bed in my room on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. And if you guys don't know what that means I'm currently unemployed. But I'm not worried. You know, I'm in very fortunate circumstances as to, so I can't really complain. But because of the fortunate circumstances, I've had a lot of time to think. I've had a lot of time to process what I want to do with my life, because I don't know, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. This is not an original thought, but you know, as you guys may know, I was in college and I was working. I was going to do bioengineering and I was working as a dental assistant. I ended up, this is my second time dropping out of school. The first time I was low-key kicked out of UW because I wasn't paying. And the second time, this time was voluntarily, just because my health was declining and the quality of life that I was living was not great. It just wasn't, it wasn't for me. And as these things have started to happen to me, I realized that there always is a plan and it's there for you. You just don't know it yet because, we're all so caught up. Like, the reason I wasn't well in the health department was because I was constantly stressing. I mean, I feel like I could speak for a lot of people when I say that in the US, you have to work, you have to make money, you have to hustle, you have to go to school. Like, you just have to do all these things. And I'm not even complaining because I'm stupid, because I'm not. Like, I know I can go to school. I know if I went to do my finals, I would have passed all my classes. Like, I know that. But I also know that going to work while I go to school, trying to see my family, trying to pay my bills, like, it just isn't possible. And I feel like the US has gone downhill so bad that I just, honestly, I feel hopeless. And I was also thinking, even if I did finish my associates and I transferred and I ended up getting my bachelor's in bioengineering, what would guarantee I had a job? Like, putting my body at risk, putting my family at risk, because if I don't pay bills, like, the family goes down too, because we're all contributing. We have all come together, and it's just the way that it works. I'm an adult. It's just the way that it works. I mean, you can't live a life without bills. So this has led me to be like, I don't need school right now, and that's okay. If at any point I do need to go back, then I will. But I also, I don't know, I don't know if I was really sure about what I wanted to do with that bioengineering tech, not tech, but with the degree. There's a lot. And the only reason why I chose it was because, well, math and science always has come easier to me than different concepts. So I was like, you know what, like, let me just bite the bullet, become an engineer, take care of my family. And bioengineering is really broad, so you can honestly do a lot, especially here where I live. There's a lot of room for growth in the department, so it was just honestly a necessity. But now that I can, kind of choose, I don't want to pay more than I make to get an education that is not guaranteed anymore. Because I'm sorry, there's a lot of people graduating from universities and they don't even have a job. So it's not like out of fear, but at the same time, like, me not being able to afford my bills, I took that as a sign. I was like, you know what? Something in the world, my time is not right now. And if I ever need it, I'm going to go back. So, since I do have like tendencies in them, I want to work on something. My thing is that I always want to do something and progress. So my move now is that I'm going to study life. I'm going to be a student of life because honestly, our generation lacks that. Like, I know a lot of people that are extremely smart and they go into school and they get their degree and they get a good job and you just become a member of society, a functioning member of society. And once you get that level of comfort, you don't really experience life. You live in a bubble and it's a good bubble. I mean, you benefit from it. You're doing great. You're probably doing great things for the world. But at the same time, like, I feel like there's so much more to youth and so much more to do in this world than pay my bills. Matter of fact, I don't even understand. And this is like the main thing that really triggered me. That was just like, what the F is sorry for my language, guys. But the main thing was that why is everyone okay with working to death? Okay, I understand there's people that can retire early. I understand, like, but essentially, when you do your thing, you go to school, you go get a job, like, you are signing up to never stop working until you're very old or until you're unable to work. And it's just like, it's just something that really unsettles me. And I don't want to do that yet. I also don't really know what I want to do. See, okay. So with the study of my life, I'm going to start planning. And, recently, not so recently, but because of school, I was able to, I feel like tap in a little bit more spiritually. And you're going to be like, how? But honestly, it was through my physics class. My physics class, I have the book and I'm gonna continue to read it. But when I was in physics, I realized, and there's a lot of things that are, everything in this world is kind of exact. Like the fact that we are even here, the fact that we are people, the fact that we are able to be the ones that kind of like rule the land. I don't think any of this is a coincidence. And I think it's something that is worth looking into. And I also feel like there's not enough mad scientists out there. Okay, hear me out. I'm not trying to like ruin the world. I'm not going to steal the moon, obviously. But I do feel like that scientific urge in my heart. Like I want to know everything. I want to learn. If I had to go to school and I had to like, and I was able to do everything, I would. And that's like my life goal, and that's honestly what has made it so hard for me to focus. But anyways, I was talking about physics. And one of the things that really caught my attention and I really like got me thinking a lot was how energy can't be created or destroyed. Now you might be like, okay, this is like a basic concept of physics. I know it's a basic concept of physics. But it's just a basic concept, right? We all know this, or not we all, but it's something that is said often in school. And the more you think about it, you realize you can't make or break energy, which means that all the energy on this world right now is all the energy we have. right? All the resources, all everything. But another thing we fail to realize is that we as people ourselves carry energy. And because we have to. I mean, we eat. The fact that we eat and we process that in our stomach, it goes down and we are able to move and we go to sleep. We're also gaining energy when we go to sleep. And it's not just like from nowhere, because again, you cannot make or break energy. It's there. It's out. And when you die, that energy goes back into the earth. And what happens? Since you can't make or break energy, the energy that you passed back to the earth has to get reused. And how would that be reused? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not 100% positive. But this leads to another thing, which is very common to believe in many religions. This is why I say that this was kind of like spiritual for me. But it reminds me of reincarnation. So if your energy goes back to the earth, you're not deleted. Like, that energy circles. It just cycles, and the same energy goes in circles and goes and goes and goes, not created, not destroyed, just a cycle. So then you can come back to life like in a flower, essentially, like with your energy, like it's in the flower. Or maybe like you're reborn into a different animal, a different, just because you went back to the earth, you're gonna come back. So that means you never die. Okay? So how many times have I been reused energy? I have no idea. How many times have you been reused energy? I have no idea, but I know it's for sure. I know it's for sure. Okay? First of all. Second of all, if we are all reused energy, we're from the same source, right? The earth. All the energy on this world is just constantly reused. So we come from the source of earth. Now, if you don't believe in like spirituality, I guess this is just scientific, right? So if we all come from the same source, that means we are all connected. All connected in whatever way, maybe I was the recycled tulip or the recycled apple you ate, and of energy you got it. Like, we can all reach each other. And I know you guys watch Stranger Things. Okay, this is another thing that kind of got me thinking. Stranger Things. So if we all come from the same source, it kind of is like Vecna, bro. Like, you guys remember when those kids were like attached to the center? And you know how Will was able to tap in and access the mind of the Demogorgons? Okay, so hear me out. Since we are all connected to a source, we should be able to contact each other. We should be able to kind of remember these kinds of things. And this is really complicated. Like, I know people are probably going to be like, no, like the logistics of it. I know it's complicated. This is just like a concept, okay? Obviously, I don't know if you guys heard, but I don't have a degree, so I don't know like everything. But something I really want to focus on is the communication of humans without speaking. I feel like it's possible. I feel like it's 100% possible, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy. But I've actually experienced it myself, and I've experienced it with my mom. Okay. And honestly, if it wasn't for my mom, I don't think I would have like these deeper thoughts, these questions in my mind. And sometimes when I used to listen to my mom's spirituality, I was like, bruh, like she's on again, like she's doing this and that, and she's trying to like, I would essentially be like, she's doing too much, right? But certain things started to make sense, and even though what she was saying to me wasn't scientifically based, well, I feel like it is. Like, let's say, okay, my mom really likes crystals. Like, she will give us, let me show you what the one I got in my room. Because y'all not about to play in my face calling me a liar. Okay? Look, she has this one. This is an obsidian. Very cold. It's real. She puts this in my room, and she tells me that it's like gonna protect me and it's gonna save me. And I used to be like, bro, like, what is this rock gonna do? Like, it's just a rock. But thinking about the concept that I was saying about all of us being energy and connected, like, this is the source, bro. This is the earth. So, like, there could be a possibility that you connect to this source, and for whatever reason, because I obviously don't know the reason why this would help me, but the fact that it comes from the earth already connects you with the source of your energy. And I feel like that could have a positive effect, right? And you know what? I feel like that's not crazy to think. Like, there's a lot of people, and research has shown that people that go outside, enjoy the outdoors, go hiking, like, they feel better. And you know why that is? Because they are connecting to the source. They are connecting to the world. They are connecting to earth. Connecting. Okay? That's one thing. So, I feel like telepathy is possible, and I feel like we are going to be getting to the bottom of this, right? Second thing I would like to say, telepathy. Okay, the connection of like people's minds. Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyways, my mom used to not be like this. Like, she used to not, like, we used to go to church. We used to be Catholic. And I still, because like I did my first communion, I did my I got baptized. I never did my confirmation, but I was there, and I remember my prayers, and a lot of my ideologies came from Catholicism. I'm Mexican, so it's like a really big deal. Like, we do posadas like the 24th of December. Like, it's a big deal. But just because something is not what you think it is doesn't mean that you should just like shoot it down, right? Okay. So anyways, before that, my mom used to have she was like spiritual in the sense of going to church, but she didn't really like have, like, it wasn't really in her. But she started switching to like Hinduism, I think. Now I'm not really sure, because I don't want to say, I don't want to mess it up. I don't know what it is. But my mom she started leaning more towards that, like Buddhism. Like, I wouldn't say she's like a specific religion, but she does listen to a lot of it. And so I've looked into a lot of religions just because, like, I'm curious, and they all tend to have the same kind of ideas, right? They all have a source that they're looking towards, and they have morals, and the morals are you know, pretty much the same. There's just like different extents and different ways of kind of showing this and showing the respect to the culture that you dedicate your r- religious, spiritual aspects to. But ever since she started to keep up with kind of like different religions and different forms of spirituality, and when she started to pick up like these crystals, like she really believed in these. Like I the set of abilities my mom has had, like she, people say that every mom can like read your mind. And do you ever think about why that ever happens? Do you ever think about how that's possible? Because she is a mother, gives birth to you. So you guys have kind of like a different connection than all the other. I mean, your dad didn't give birth to you. Your dad did contribute, but he didn't carry you for 9 months. Like, you guys don't have, like, it's a different bond, okay? And, I was like, okay, like, my mom can tell me kind of what's going on. My mom can tell me this and that. But it wasn't until she started connecting to the source, and she wasn't doing this intentionally, but she started to feel the shifts, and I started to watch them. And I was in denial for the longest time. I was like, dude, like, this is weird. Like, this is just weird. Like, this is just her. But then she started telling me, my future. She started telling me things that I did. Even literally yesterday, she no, not yesterday. On Tuesday, I got like essentially fired from my job. I was canvassing. I wanted to see if it was something for me. I was just trying it out. They had a paid training period, so I was like, why not? Went in. I didn't get the quota, and so I got fired. But it's not like it was unexpected. I was canvassing for an environmental cause. But anyways, when they ended up firing me, like, this is downtown in Seattle, and I was upset, but I don't know, like, I don't know what happened. I just like started crying. I went to the Space Needle, and I was like, you know what? Like, it's fine. Like, I didn't cry for long. I was just like walking. I went away from they were still like canvassing in the corner right there. And I pulled up, went to, went that way, and that was where the Space Needle was. Is on my way there, I just was crying. Like, a lot of people were looking at me. I didn't really care. I was just like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm never going to see these people again. So I was just crying on my way. And when I'm at the Space Needle, I'm just thinking, like, damn, like, like, I really thought that was a job for me. It's okay. It's okay. I ended up, like, calming myself down. And, like, I wasn't upset, but I was crying. And so I went home, and my dad picks me up. And as my dad's picking me up, like, I don't even tell, like, because I wasn't expecting to keep that job, but I really wanted to. Um, I just thought it was a good cause. And my dad is like talking, and he's like, what happened at work today? And I was like, oh, like, I just got fired. And the building we were in front of was like Amazon workers, so that day, a lot of them got laid off, and so I was trying to canvass them. I got a lot of people to stop. I was able to let them know, but they were all just like, are you gonna fix the layoffs? Like, am I gonna get my job back? What are you gonna do? So I guess that was the reason I didn't get much donations, was there was a lot of people being laid off that day, which I don't think is a coincidence. Anyways, so my dad's like, man, like, it's okay. Like, you got time. Like, don't worry about it. But you know what's crazy? And I said, what? And then he's like, your mom just told me that she had a dream that you got fired today by the Space Needle, and that you were crying. Mind you, I just hopped in the car, bro. And my dad also will never admit that these things are true, but I know he knows. It took me a long time. I'm 21, guys. it took me a long time to be like, yo, like this could be like, this is real. Anyways, he tells me that and he's just laughing. And he tells me this casually because this isn't the first time. And so I get home, I don't tell my mom anything. And, because like she'd be knowing anyways, like what's the point? And today, no, yesterday I had like a phone interview with the clinic. And she's like, oh, you got fired? I knew it. Like, I knew you got fired. And it's not even because she was like, you suck at your job. I knew you were going to get fired. Like, you're so ass. But she was like, I had a dream. And she starts telling me the whole dream. And essentially the same thing. And she's like, and I saw you hopped on like the pretty train. Like, there's the light rail. And then there's the Metro Blue. There's a different one that just goes from the center of Seattle to Westlake. And I hopped on that one. She was like, yeah. And you were crying on your way. You didn't seem too upset. Like, details, bro. Details. Okay? You don't have to believe me, but it's true. Another time, my mom has been right. And this was a long time ago. This was when I was like, I would say 13, 14. And this was like one of the first times, bro. Like this is when she was getting a little bit more in touch with like spirituality. And this is one of the first times. And mind you, my mom has always kind of known. She's always been more in touch with nature. She has always been just someone that like, I feel like I can trust her intuition. Someone that listens to her gut. Someone that tells it like it is. Someone that can predict. Okay? And my brother and his friend, they were going to go to a football game. We were in middle school. Or it was like his freshman year of high school. So I was like in 8th grade. And, my brother, every single day, he would get on his bike, go outside, no problem. I could go outside, no problem. Like, all I had to do was wash the dishes, clean my room. Like, I just had to be a good kid, and I was able to go outside and play. And so my brother, that day, he does his chores. He does everything. He gets his bike ready. He's like, Mom, can I go outside? Mom's like, no. Perfect, beautiful day. He's like, no, Mom, like, it's like a game. And usually my mom, we used to live right next to the school that they used to have these games at. So he was like, it's like right there. It's the daytime. Like, can I go to the game with my friend? And my mom was like, no. Like, no, I have this terrible feeling. Like, you're not going anywhere. And then my brother's like, he's a kid, bro. So he's like, bro, like, just let me go. Like, literally just let me go. So he grabs his bike, takes it outside. And then as he's gonna like ride away, mind you, the bike was in perfect condition. The day before he had used it. He's trying to like ride away, but he's like coming back and he's like, oh, like the tire is popped. And so my mom was like, yeah, bro, like that's a sign. That's a sign. So I feel like, you know what? I have this like terrible feeling. And she starts pointing like right here, bro. She's like, I have like this terrible feeling, like, I don't know, just not today. He's like, you can go out tomorrow, just not today. Or just wait until your dad comes home. And my brother, he's like, okay, because he had to fix the bike at this point. And so I'm on the phone with my friend, like I'm on call, like in my bed laying. I wasn't trying to go outside. I was just like on call on house party. And then in our apartments, like on the stairs, we hear like gunshots. And, in the city that we lived, we're like, I feel like we know what gunshot sounds like. We knew that it was not fireworks. We knew that it was a gunshot and it was really close. So it was really scary. As soon as we heard the gunshot, my mom was in the room. I was laying on my bed. She starts holding her side. She's like in pain, bro. In pain. And she's like, oh my God, like what just happened? She like can't breathe. I like put my friend on mute and I'm like, yo, are you okay? And, I'm not saying that my mom, I'm saying, I used to think my mom exaggerated a lot of stuff. I was like, man, bro, like she's just like tweaking. Like she would wake up in her sleep and she like start gasping. A lot of times she would like experience pain randomly, and I don't know. It was so often that I thought it was a lie, but at the same time, like in my heart, I was like, my mom's not a liar. So like I always believed her and I always helped her out, and our whole family was kind of the same thing. So I go up to my mom and I'm like, dude, like, are you okay? Like, do you want me to bring you some water? And usually, when she was in these pains, like if you brought her something like cold, or she would always, even before she had these crystals, like even before she had this, she always wanted to go outside and like touch the ground. And I was like, hey, let's go outside, like it's okay, like get some wind. We lived on the second floor, and I was like, let's just go on the balcony or something. She's like, no, no, we can't. And then she's like crying. And then this was kind of traumatizing, but so I don't really remember the full on details of it, but or like how we found out. But essentially, like, the person that got shot was my brother's friend that he was gonna go with, and he was gonna go hang out with these people. And we all knew these people. We knew all of these people. These are the same people that we used to go outside and play with. And he got shot right there. And the reason why we found out was where my mom was like pointing at and like in pain. She didn't know, bro. She did not know. She just heard the gunshot. And she had already been kind of like pointing in that area. She was like, nah, bro, nah. And then like I guess the person that was witnessing this, like with the person that had shot my brother's friend, they had recorded this, put this on Snapchat, and so my brother ended up seeing it on Snapchat, and he just like broke down. When we went to his funeral, and we didn't know what happened. My brother was like, he got shot, like he's in the hospital. And obviously that's devastating. Like at any age, finding out that your friend, especially like a really close, good friend, got shot at your apartments. Okay. And he was just in shock. And so it was a while. We went to the funeral, and it turned out that was like the exact spot he had gotten shot. And I just remember thinking, like, there's no way. Like, no way. My mom just felt like that pain coincidentally. And so that's kind of what's starting, like, what started my curiosity with that kind of stuff. And although it might not seem scientifically backed, like once you experience it, once you see it, once it happens to you, you're just like, wow. And so given this is going to be my main focus, because there's a lot of things I want to do with my life. Like, I would love to be an oral surgeon. I would love to be an engineer. I would love to look into medicinal marijuana. But right now that I can't, like, really, I don't have access to a lab. I don't have like much to do. I'm just gonna focus on this, on like the telepathy. And I think with my mom being my mom, if I lock in, I'm gonna be able to unlock these things. And I feel like you guys are gonna be like, bro, this isn't anything new. This is like, I know it's out there. I know there's definitely videos out there that explain these kinds of stuff, but this is just like my personal experience. This is my experiments of my life. And so, yeah. So I'm gonna be keeping track of my progress. I'm going to be trying different things. Um, and yeah, how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna unlock telepathy? Okay, so to me, it kind of seems like connecting to the source of our creation is gonna help connect us to everyone. Because because yeah, like I already explained, like the energy. So if we all come from one source, if my mom was able to feel like that pain physically from someone that was so like, I wouldn't say like super far away, like probably less than a mile, maybe like 800 feet away. If she was able to feel that, and she's not able to control it, like this just happens to her. This is another reason why um she doesn't eat meat. She doesn't eat she doesn't eat fish, because she says that she feels the pain of the animals. And I've watched it happen in real, like I've the last time she ate, she doesn't drink coffee. There's so many things, like I don't know, she's just really sensitive to these kinds of stuff. And I used to think she was crazy, but for her to feel like, let me explain, like if she were to eat like meat, like she ate a burger, and this only started happening like towards a couple years ago. I would say like 9 years ago. She stopped eating meat, stopped drinking, no coffee, no energy drinks, no caffeine. Like she like went on a cut of a lot of things, but it was mostly meat, because she would like dead ass like get hives. Like I don't know if it was like an anxiety attack or what it was, but she would like get like really, really, really bad. And so we ended up, she ended up figuring out that it was the meat. And she coined it to the fact that, these animals are being abused. They're not living in great conditions. And she felt that. She said that she felt like the sadness. She said that she felt the pain, the physical pain on her body, even though she's not an animal. And this only started to happen when she started to come to touch with the source. And like I said, my mom has always been outside. My mom has always been, more outdoorsy, touching the. She lived in Mexico for the longest time. Mexico was beautiful. And she would go sit by trees. She was more of that kind of person. So, my life plan right now is going to be to max out and perfect this. And I'm literally telling you guys, I'm gonna develop telepathy. Like, I can guarantee that I'm gonna develop this. So, first things first, I'm gonna start to take care of my. Well, I would already say that I do a pretty good job at taking care of my physical body, but I'm gonna try to exceed that. I'm gonna start to eat a little bit more healthy. I already work out pretty often, but I'm gonna try to make a routine for the workouts. I'm going to have a good sleep schedule, because I feel like that's another thing. I feel like I have to be fully here, fully rested, fully well to even be able to be in like that space of mind where I want to do these things. So these changes are going to be for the betterment of my mind, my mental health, and for the betterment of my physical body, just to like see if I can speed up these results. And then I'm going to start. I already deleted TikTok for alternate reasons, but I'm going to start to try and decrease the amount of time I spend on social media. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is because I feel like social media is just kind of a distraction. It's obviously useful to connect with people. I'm gonna keep the social media so I can connect with people. And obviously, I'm going to be posting on YouTube. But I also want to be a little bit more proactive in, being here, being present, living my life as a human being, and reduce the amount of brain rot if possible. With that being said, I am also going to be adding a mandatory reading time to my day. I'm going to start off by like 15 minutes. I honestly really don't. Well, I'm not going to say that. I don't usually read, but I'm going to start with 15 minutes a day, every single day. I'm going to try to read 15 minutes. And yeah, so I'm going to get a library card, and I'm going to try to focus myself and keep my mind occupied with things that are not super related to the computers, because I feel like social media and the internet is very useful. I mean, there's a lot of things that we wouldn't have been able to do as a society without these kinds of developments. It has its benefits, but I also feel like because of its benefits, people tend to look to it for all the answers. As you guys may see, AI has already started to essentially take over. It's drinking our water. They're targeting us in these ways, and if I'm not reliant on these sorts of things, I feel like my mental health will be better. I'm also gonna give myself okay, this one I might add later. This is just like for personal goals, but I'm going to give myself like 30 minutes a day to try and solve some problems. Again, I'm not in school, but I also feel like I said, the resources online are very useful and I can use them. There's a lot of people that learn a lot online. Matter of fact, I would say most of my classes, I learned a big chunk of it on YouTube, watching these videos, keeping up with these problems. So I think I'm gonna continue to further my education, just not at I just won't have a degree. I just won't have any credits. It's just like my personal knowledge, which I feel will also be helpful. I'm going to try and cut down on my other drinks because I want to focus on drinking water. Water is, I guess, like the purest form of thing keeping us alive that comes from our planet. So I feel like that would help me also connect to our source of Earth a little bit easier. And yeah. And then what else? Oh, the most important part. Okay. So I feel like from what I saw kind of happened to my mom and with my current situation, so I know most of the times that she is able to predict. I don't think my mom can do telepathy on command. Like, she can't just look at me and tell me something and I hear it, but there are times where I'll hear my name, I'll go upstairs and she was just about to call me. Or she looks at me and oh my god, there literally has been times where we've been in front of other people and we're just making direct eye contact, and for some reason I hear something, doesn't say a word, and I just assume that she's talking to me. And then I bring it up later. I'm like, hey mom, what you said earlier at this place, what you mean by that? And she's like, I didn't say anything, but I was thinking that, I never said anything though, but now that you mention it, I don't feel like she can do it on command, but it's also because, I don't know, different circumstances. Most of the times that she's able to tell and predict is through dreams. So that's what I'm gonna first focus on. That's gonna be my first step. I'm already a little bit with my foot in the door. Um, I have picked up some meditation techniques. So, breathing. And you guys are like, breathing? Yes, bro, breathing. I used to be, well, I used to smoke a lot. And a lot of the times I realized that it was just kind of like the breathing, like that, in whole, like that whole thing that kind of helped me calm down. That I didn't, well, okay, I wasn't smoking cigarettes, but I feel like the benefit of what I was, like what I was seeking didn't even fully hit until like I got like the breathing technique correct. And sometimes when I was like feeling, I would practice the breathing technique within itself without the smoke, and it would actually help. And even when I went, you will go to therapy and they will talk about breathing techniques, mindfulness, meditation. So when I said I had my foot in the door, I'm saying that recently I have been meditating while I go to sleep. This is going to be like the actual first experiment. I'm going to try to do this every single day. Okay. And I'll report weekly. I'll also try to write down the dreams that I have. And I'll let you guys know. But anyways, even without the meditation, even without that, I've dreamed. I dream every single night and I remember it. And I feel like dreams are very important. They're under researched, and I'm, like I said, I'm not a scientist with a degree, but I am a scientist at heart. So I guess my control, or the main experiment, is going to be meditating at night. And usually I don't time it, but I'm going to try and time it. I'm going to do breathing before I go to sleep, and this has helped me I've noticed that when I do breathing before I go to sleep, even though I dream every single day, prior to this, I wasn't able to control my dreams. I wasn't able to contribute anything to it. I just kind of had to deal with whatever was going on and just remember it. And there was a lot of beautiful and a lot of bad. But recently, I've been able to control what is going on in my dreams more and more often. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to think about what should be the... I'm going to start with 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes before bed. I'm going to practice breathing techniques. And hopefully I fall asleep pretty fast. So yeah, I'll do 10 minutes before bed or until I go to sleep. No music, no electronics. I'm going to make sure to move my electronics to a different kind of section. I have like the charger right here, but I feel like that's, like I said, I feel like the waves of my phone could interfere with that. So I'm gonna just try and, well, no, I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna move my charger to a different area of the room, and I'm gonna do 10 minutes before bed every single day. Then in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm gonna write down the dream and if there was anything that I was able to control. Or no. Okay, I'm gonna every day before bed, I am going to write down something that I want to put in my dream, something super easy, something identifiable, something like, let's say I'm gonna be like, okay, I want to dream about like Hello Kitty in a rainbow eating muffins. And I'm gonna meditate, go to sleep, wake up, write down what I dreamt. If at any point I was able to have Hello Kitty eating muffins on a rainbow, I'll write that down. And then weekly, I'll report how often I was able to control that, right? And then I feel like once I start to see a little bit more results, I will like up the amount of time I spent breathing. Maybe I should do 15 minutes, okay? And then I'll end up trying different things. But this is just the first video, so yeah. Okay. Write down goal of the dream, breathing techniques for 15 minutes before bed. Or until I fall asleep. I'm gonna say until I fall asleep. And then as soon as I wake up, I write down if A was possible, and then B, what the dream was. Okay. Weekly report. Daily possible dream. And then, I don't know, that's just the basic. Hopefully, well, since it's my life, this is my control. And I'll start telling you guys if there's any changes, if I'm actually following the whatever I said I was, if I'm actually like eating healthy. Like, I'm trying to like have some controls in this, but because it's my life and it's a life study, technically I guess I don't need any controls. I just need to, the goal is to be healthier, and I assume that being healthier is gonna make it easier for me to achieve these goals a little bit quicker. But since I am human and I'm not perfect, I will continue to live my life, hopefully built to these better habits. And I'll report if these better habits are improving my life at all. So let me see. I'll start with one. Right now I don't have a job, so I'm gonna focus on good amount of sleep, okay? First control, good amount of sleep. Write down goal for the dream, breathing techniques, write down dream. If their goal was met, weekly report. Okay. Now, I'm gonna focus on the dreams first, and then this sounds so crazy, but I swear it's true. Like, it's something in my heart. It's telling me that I have to do this. So I'm gonna do it, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys keep up with me, and if it's only me, this is still science. So I'll catch you guys later. Bye.